Hello again. So today I'm going to talk on a little bit more serious note. This is my I'm not going to kill myself video. A lot of people have put those out there, but this is mine. A lot of people might think that my life's been super easy because I'm a white guy. But yeah, I'm just going to put it out there. I will not kill myself. And I'm going to do a little background talk today, give you a little biography about my upbringing and my opinion on some things and a couple of hot takes that you might not agree with, or maybe you will. Uh, Growing up, I'm the traditional trailer park kid. I was only there for about 2 years, so I can't say that I spent all my life in a mobile home, but I've been around mobile homes my whole life. My dad's got a business fixing them up, selling them. You know, you call him, he'll get you right. And I worked for him for a lot of years, among other places. And yeah, it's always been my life's work to help the less fortunate, keep people good. You know what I mean? Like, you have a problem, we're one call away in order to resolve it. And I don't think many people have lived their lives that way. I think a lot of people have expectations from society and they're not willing to have expectations on them from society. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary of that. I at about two moved into a little bit nicer house, and my dad and his friends did a little bit of upgrades on it that a lot of other people would look at and think, "Wow, those guys must be loaded." When in reality, it's him searching garage sales and word of mouth. Just helping enough families, you eventually come upon lost treasures. You know what I mean? Like some china set that nobody wants, or a lawnmower that's perfectly fine, but somebody died and nobody else in the family wants it, or some windows, or a door, or you're ordering material to fix someone else's house and you find out there's a nicks and dents section and you keep an eye on that for the next deal. Slowly but surely, he made his house look pretty nice. And along the way, I learned a lot of that. I was 6 years old when I did my first sewer. So, I mean, I'm 31 now. I spent the better part of 2 decades, you know, doing whatever it takes to get people right. Crawling through shit, crawling through mold, replacing insulation and bellies on mobile homes that are full of drug needles and God knows what. Sewage problems that dump into the belly, you cut it open right on top of yourself, get it done, fix it up. And I don't think a lot of people have been exposed to that side of life. And but they have a lot of opinions, and they're getting a lot of say in this time because guys want a hot girl, or they want to be accepted by the larger parts of society, and so they're willing to conform their ideologies anyway, maybe not their day to day, to appease the masses, because most men want to keep the peace. Most men don't want to go cause problems, ruffle feathers, make it a big problem in life that they're not happy. A lot of them would rather be quiet, let things happen the way they are, as long as they've got a wife and kids, or their job's paying well, or they can have a steak for dinner. They'll do what it takes. And less and less so, that's becoming an option. Uh, we'll take it back a little here. Uh, in second grade, that was 2001, we had 9/11 happen, and I had just finished reading the Bible at that time, a kid's Bible, so it doesn't have all the lingo. But my mindset had shifted quite a bit. I'd say that I thought about life a lot more critically than most people would have at that time. And moving forward, I've always thought different. It was about second grade that I was knowingly not a part of the group. I'm not an in-crowd kid. And I got glasses, I got 8 teeth pulled, I ate candy a lot. That was my payment. I'd get a quarter for every sheet of inventory that I did. We had a little mobile home parts store. So every sheet of inventory, I'd get a quarter. And then I'd take that across the street to the gas station, pick up a candy bar, a couple of suckers, you know what I mean? So I had a sweet tooth. And yeah, so had to do a lot of reevaluating at about 12 years old. And I went to a private school. So all my neighbors, they went to the public school and they were getting indoctrinated in different ways. It's all indoctrination. But let's just say there was a pretty gay twist on public school kids. So I found myself not wanting to be a part. For a long time, I wanted to get out of the house and see what else is going on, and then I realized that it's pretty much just gay. So, like, I'm okay with you being gay, but don't make me. I don't want to be that. I don't want to do that. And yeah, so I kept a healthy distance from most of the crowd. I still tried to be friendly. I still tried to fit in, but I was not heart set on being the it kid or accepted by everyone or however you want to say it. So into public school, I played a lot of sports. My biggest sport was soccer, but I mean I played basketball, football, baseball, lacrosse, you name it. I swam. I did it all, and so I ended up being in circles with a lot of different crowds. Like, I don't know, I had the Asian kids on the soccer team, the black kids with basketball. I had a healthy mix, and I never thought about race until about senior year. It became very apparent that that was like a hot button topic with Obama being president. It was a pick a side or you're against us. And I never wanted to be that way, but it became more and more clear my first year of college that that was the case. You had to conform or be rejected. So I got rejected. And I did my best to accept my situation. And for a long time there, I was just not okay. I got ulcerative colitis, supposedly. But ultimately, I was just not okay with the world that we were forced to accept. And I'm not alone in that. The deaths of despair from white men around my age has been ridiculous. Like, I can't count on two hands how many people that I know who have taken their own lives because of the dire state of white men in this country. And it's clearly rampant across the world at this point. I mean, we're at a turning point right now. Not to use whatever kind of word that would be, but I mean, Charlie got killed. However, it happened. That was in his head the turning point. But we are at a crossroads right here where we're going to decide to stand up and fight what's going on or accept it. And there's a lot of people that want to be accepted. And there's also a lot of people that by no means are going to be accepted. So what is the motivation to do so? And I think that we need to consider that before we make any rash decisions, whether that's Sharia law or continuing with this feminism stuff or rejecting it and going the other way. Everything's a pendulum, and if you're trying to swing it too hard, the counter swing is going to do a lot of people in. This is not a call to action, this is a call to thought. And I think a lot of people need to start thinking a little harder. I think a lot of what's going on stems from the vicarious, like, I need to be what my parents want. A lot of vicarious living. There's a lot of people who have to be a doctor, lawyer, political pundit, etc., or they won't get their parents' love, they won't get their affection, they won't be accepted, and not only from their parents but from larger society. Like there's a very strong women should be independent, don't need no man that stems back from the women that grew up from right after the World Wars. Because after the World Wars, the guys came home and they wanted a wife that was cooking and cleaning, but all throughout the war, they were running the factories, running the show here. And then the guys came back and assumed their position again. And so there has to be some middle ground that we can achieve. But right now, we're trying to we don't need men anymore. But they're the ones that ensured the safety that we have right now that's slowly eradicating or falling away, I should say. There's a lot of institutions that exist because like millions of dudes, millions of men died protecting the idea of America. And people are just so willing to forget that. And it's baffling. And I don't think that they understand the precedent that we're in. They don't realize the notion that they're trying to push and the agenda that's going on. I think they're just compliant because it benefits them in the short term. There's a lot of people that got free college, free rides to, do all sorts of things in life. The government forked it out, and they don't realize that that came from someone else. Or if it did, they do realize that, they think that's expected. They're white guys. They're the problem. Or they have more money than me, so they should give it to me. And I think there's just really linear thinking when you should be thinking a lot more critically about the long-term consequences of actions. And I know that there's going to be people that don't agree with what I'm saying, but that's their prerogative. Um, I just think that we're at a very, very tumultuous time. There's going to be a lot of conflict, to put it nicely, but I don't think people understand what they're poking right now. Not necessarily me personally, because I mean, what the fuck am I gonna do? But you say there's how many people thinking like me versus how many people thinking like you. Like it's if we want a civil war, we can continue down this, or we can find a middle ground and try and keep the peace. Because I think ultimately people want peace, but if you're gonna make it a non-option, what happens? Charlie and 9/11 and every day there's something coming out about somebody who's being taken alive or murdered, or you know what I mean? The political activism is coming to a head in a way that most people find disgusting. And it's only going to get exponentially worse unless we can find a common ground. So I encourage you to look for that. Think deeply about what direction you want the world to go in, what the world you want your grandkids, and their grandkids to live in. So, peace.